2014.
It is coming on fast, let me tell you what. And as we always say about this time of year, we don't want to kill this many trees, but so many people have to be informed, you know, what's going on, where to show up, what their job is, you know, all the details is what we're working on right now.
And I know in years past, you and I have talked several times, but just for a quick little recap for those who maybe just are tuning in, do tell, if you don't mind, your involvement specifically with the River Festival.
Within the festival, I'm in charge of entertainment, which means working with the stage managers on the stages, working with people like Cash Hollister from Access to decide actually what we're doing. But we actually have a crew at each stage, and like right now, our biggest worry is a keyboard different than a piano, and are they bringing their own, and do we have enough, and you know, just all those details that go with performing. I have one dancer who's coming who needs a couple of 3/4 inch pieces of plywood. You know, I mean, just a list of things that you have to do to get ready.
Did you ever imagine years ago when you first came to Arts and Humanities and started doing this, that this is where your position would evolve? Because I'm sure it's changed dramatically over the years.
Well, it has. When Lana and Martha left, Carla and I took a good deal of the more programming aspects of it. But I had run a festival before I came here, and you know, I've always worked with performing arts, so it's not too far a stretch. But I have to say, it's a pretty big scale, you know, everything that we do, and it involves a lot of people. So yeah, about 300 performers through the weekend. So
that is just mind-blowing, and just the sheer fact, because your office is rather small. How many people are in your office?
just me.
Do you have any assistants, any interns?
Well, we have all kinds of help, you know,
Mhm.
around, and it just kind of depends on what we're working with. Actually, Kathy Ballou, who's the office manager here, is very involved in food. I mean, she does a great job of keeping track of all the documents that we have to have from the vendors. And so, you know, a little less, but I think with entertainment, it falls more to the stage managers who are responsible for those kinds of things, like the stack of sheets that I just gave you.
Yes.
They're responsible for contacting everybody and making sure that we have the correct list, because they change frequently, and you know, just making sure that we've got everything that everybody needs.
How do you each year determine what acts are going to perform at the River Festival?
We kind of have a criteria. There is a methodology that's probably 7 or 8 pages long that talks about the fact that we're an art festival and that we really do want variety in what we're doing. You know, we want to make sure that there really is something for everybody out there, and that everybody is kind of reflected in what we do, which also leads to a certain amount of ethnic programming. We make sure that that's available. But also just our standards of quality, which are very high. Many times you'll see that we're lucky enough to pick up on somebody who really blows up the following year, and we probably couldn't afford to have them come back. But you know, getting people on the way up and doing our research and really putting together a really eclectic vibe is what we're really all about. And I have a great committee of about 6 or 8 people to help us do that, and you know, very boldly say, I really like this group and I think they need to come. And Cash was really great about doing that last year, but he did pick a couple $100,000 one, which we really couldn't afford. So, and I'm teasing Cash because he's behind the camera today.
You know, this is my 9th River Festival that I've been filming with Access. And every year, I know I say this all the time, and all the times you and I have talked on camera, I never get tired of it. I mean, I love music. I don't maybe necessarily love all genres of music, but I can't ever recall a band or two that I've just not appreciated or loved. I mean, that is a real gift you guys have, and the diversity, the variety, all genres, all ages. And I'm sure not everybody loves everything, but that's what's so great about our River Festival. There really is such diversity.
Well, it's kind of like the jam. If you don't like it, it'll change in 15 minutes. But, you know, on the other hand, yeah, we really do want that synergy, and what people don't really understand is it takes us probably a whole month to write the schedule. And largely because we're combing through what act works best after the last one. We want to make sure that we don't overburden the stage managers. For instance, like stage 2, we'll only put a group of 10 either the first thing in the morning or the last thing at night, because it's just not enough time to get somebody on and off in about 7 minutes, which is about what we've got. So stylistically, we work really hard to make sure that that happens well. And like, for instance, people might not notice, but on a Friday or a Saturday, from the afternoon going into the evening, we really want that to build. We really want it to create some energy. And so there are lots and lots of details, a lot like putting together the art show, that have an impact on how that works. And it's just all of us putting our good heads together and saying, no, wait, you've got 2 string instruments back to back, you probably want to break that up. You know, that really kind of creates that.
I just love the feeling. It just seems like every year, you would assume that it would be very, I don't want to use the word monotonous, but it's not. It's always different. Each festival is different.
I
How do
think
you do that?
there is a certain contingency in Salina that probably hasn't attended for a few years that always say, oh, it's just the same.
No,
but
it's
it's
not.
really not, because all of the time and the care that goes into all the individual and diverse elements, and then you throw all of that together in a park. You've got all these creative people, and you know, we're always very fortunate that the spark does get ignited, and you know, the artists are listening to other artists. The performers are running through the art show, purchasing things, and you know, you get that synergy going, and it just extends to everything that happens. And that what I think is the magic of the festival.
And you're so right as far as magic. I love the fact, you know, my daughter's now almost 10, and it's probably the most labor-intensive thing we do at Access. It's my favorite thing, hands down. Love it. But it's so cool. As a parent, each year I take my daughter. Loves it. There's some staple things that are typically there that we love, and we always love all the new different things. I mean, and it's such a cool way to introduce all the different aspects of art to my child, you know, and through the progressive, you know, stages of her learning. That's what's so cool. It just, I'm just so forever blown away at how your office, you all work so diligently and so hard. You're all small but mighty.
2,000 people that help.
And you have great volunteers. And you know, and I do recall that over the years. Is it true, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have had people that work specific days and specific volunteer jobs consistently for years.
Since the beginning.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We do.
You just, I mean, you guys are totally doing something very correct and right on.
I think it's a short, you know, relatively short time period. I think people like to be associated with something that's very successful.
Yeah.
I think it's also an aspect of what happens with family reunions in Salina. I think that there are people that you don't see any other time of year but in the park, and it's kind of just like that party you don't want to miss.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just has such a great vibe. I tell you, I can't even, I do think about this a lot. What is my favorite aspect of the festival? And I don't know, because it really changes.
I don't know, I
every
have
year.
quite a few.
I mean, it really is. I'm not going to lie, my daughter was totally thrilled last year. She was very proud. She ate the alligator on a stick.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, that's probably not my favorite.
I still haven't done that.
No, I don't know that I'm that brave. But just the different aspects of art. And like you said, it's like you just run into everybody in the world, you know, and even though it seems like, you know, it almost seems like time stops that weekend.
In some ways it does,
does,
yeah.
you know, and it's just, I can't think of too many other avenues or events where I can say that, you know.
Well, I always think it's a lot like Christmas, you know, because you kind of have to have your family there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of have to have your people around you. At least I do. But, you know, largely just to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you want your mom to come, and, you know, you want your kids to come. And this year I'll have a 10-month-old granddaughter that'll be there for the first time. And, you know, that's really exciting to me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just the tradition of, you know, how we hand it down. And that is something that we talk about in the office very frequently. Is, you know, some of us are kind of aging out, and, you know, who are the people at your age level that are going to keep it going and, you know, renew it and bring something new into it. And I'm looking at Cash again, because he's got that open mic thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, awesome. Definitely, which is wonderful. So, yeah. You know, that is the important thing, is that it continues beyond us. And I think Martha Ray certainly did a wonderful job of handing it to us. And, you know, we need to get ready to do that again.
Definitely. Real quickly, just what are some few things that you can share that may be a little different this year from last year?
As far as projects, there are always different things, and I was just we were just talking about a dance project that I've got coming from Lawrence. Hanan Nisco, who is the choreographer, director of dance at the Lawrence Arts Center, is going to be with us with a professional dance company called Communitas Dance, and they're going to take dancers in the community, and we're going to have dancing at the festival, which will be wonderful. And then, you know, it's just the individual things that we've got lined up. There is one potter that Carla knows I talk to her about weekly, that I'm certainly going to go look for some dishes when they get here. You know, so the shopping is always a really good aspect of what happens. But for entertainment, I really think, and this was also somebody that Cash kind of brought to our attention, was Nikki Hill, I think, from St. Louis, who's a roots singer, I think is really going to be somebody to watch. I think you're going to want to be at every one of her 4 performances, and I think in the next year you're going to find her on Letterman and everywhere else that you want to look, and so that's exciting to me, for those people. But also just some lovely, amazingly talented people who will be with us. April Virch was with us for Art a la carte and has been here to teach a couple of times. But she, at the age of 20, won 2 national fiddling championships in Canada.
Wow.
And she's darling. She's just as cute as can be. She's a wonderful player, a great step dancer, and she's somebody that you want to see.
That's so cool. And I gotta give a shout out to St. Louis, since that is my hometown. Yay! Go Missouri! Although I know Kansas proud.
What can I say?
I know the Missouri-Kansas thing is always awkward, but it's all good. But I love talking to you anyway, period. But the festival just makes me happy. And again, and not just to say this because we're on camera and I should and so forth, but really, it is forever for me the most favorite thing we do at Access TV. I'm so grateful you guys allow us in there the way that you do, because it is just so great to be such a part of such a magical, huge event. I mean, and this event totally sets Solano apart, I think, hands down.
I think so too. It's a very urban event. And I would just say, get your buttons, get them now.
Yes.
We're at 40 different locations in Solano, including Dillon's, the Casey's stores, all your banks, the Bicentennial Center. I mean, you can't hardly throw a rock without running into one, and you really do need to get it before Thursday so that you can get the great $10 price.
Yes.
And children 11 and under are free.
Which is awesome.
And just a reminder, if there's anything you want to know about the festival, you can buy your t-shirts, your buttons on the website, which is riverfestival.com. What a great URL we have.
Yes, very good. Well, thank you, Sharon, so much for
Sure.
being on the program. You are always a delight, and thank you so much for watching.